Hi, welcome. So in this video I'm going to show you some of the tweaks and polish I made after some more testing, and also how you can now export your entire project. Perhaps you want to keep a backup of what you've made so far, or keep a archive of what you've done. So let's kind of just quickly walk through what changes we've made then. So on the values side down here, I wasn't using the other values where we'd set a minimum width of, say, 720 density independent pixels. Those are for tablets and large tablets, and I didn't have any special settings I needed for those. I was fine with the way that the app looked without those, so I deleted those directories. Also, let's have a look at strings. So I didn't need to translate the app name or the description of the image, so you can add an additional attribute here saying, hey, translatable equals false. That means that we're not going to get any lint errors when we don't provide translations for these strings. So we did that, and then you can rerun lint to make any warnings go away. Remember, there's a little icon up here. It looks like a little check. There we go, little tick. Or you can use the lint warnings view, and that has a little rerun button just here. Okay, so I've done that. I also didn't need the menu items as well, so I went into the menu and just deleted the settings item in here. I don't have any settings for this app, so I deleted those line items there. Okay, what else do we do? Oh yes, so in the layout, here's one trick I didn't show in the previous video. As well as looking at your app in just one layout, you can actually say, hey, let's preview this in all screens. And so we can take at least a quick look to check that we're happy with how our app will look under different devices. Okay, and I think I showed you this, that we can also check both languages that we've defined, the default and the Spanish. Right, so we talked about that. Oh yes, so on the actual design, Android's best practices suggest that UI components should actually be separated by 8 density independent pixels rather than 16. So just a little tweak there to make it within the spec. And on the right, I edited both the portrait and the landscape layouts so that the text view in both cases was wrapped inside a scroll view, so that you can properly scroll the text. So then I went and tested it, but I discovered a problem. So let's run this. I will click on the name and say run as Android application. I've already got an emulator running here. And let's have a look over here. And we see that we have our message with the tag banana, if music be the food of love. If you remember, we had some Java code inside the onCreate call. Let's just pull that up for a moment to have a look. So inside our main activity here, we added Android import android.util.log at the top here, along with the other import statements, and that's got a semicolon at the end. And then down here we have our line that is going to send out the log message with the tag banana, if music be the food of love. And these are called strings. If you've got a sentence or a word you want to say, you need to tell the compiler when it starts and where it stops, and we use double quotes for that. And it's a string because imagine putting strings of little beads on a piece of string. That's what it would look like in memory, that each of these characters would be after the previous one, all lined up inside the computer memory. And we have a semicolon at the end. Right, so we have that little message there. What might be surprising, though, is that we can make that message appear twice. Okay, let's go back to our emulator. And if I rotate the screen, so on this, that's going to be Control F11, I get 2 bananas. Yes, every time we rotate the screen, the Android operating system recreates the activity. So all of the activity and its associated Java objects are kind of thrown away, and we get to create the app again. So to the user, it looks like a constantly running app, but actually, as you can see, if we have Music Flute of Love, is being played many times. So this can cause a problem. If we quickly rotate the screen, in memory we have the old image and the new image loaded up, and that can exceed our memory budget of, remember, 16 megabytes for the whole app that's currently running. So I can have more than 16 megabytes stored on disk as part of the app, but the actual RAM I can use, the actual memory that I have available, cannot exceed 16. And I discovered that with the original image, if I went from landscape to portrait, then I would have 2 images in memory at the same time, and that was enough to crash the app. And we saw the same error message that we did at the very beginning of this. So my fix was to go back to my image reducer program, change the factor that I reduced it to, and I made an even smaller JPEG image. And so with that, I can now rotate and go back and so on, and I don't blow the budget, as it were. However, I did find on the emulator that if I can do this fast enough, there we go, I can still get it to crash, or at least on the emulator, because now multiple images are still in memory at the same time. Java hasn't got round yet to properly cleaning them up. There is no easy fix to this without doing some low-level programming, and it does seem to be a problem only in the earlier versions of Android. I couldn't reproduce this error in the more modern API level 18. So I'm prepared to live with this edge case and acknowledge that we've had to make an almost perfect app, but not quite perfect app. And we didn't need to write any programming to create our app. Okay, so I've got my project here, and now instead of just exporting just the APK file, the actual app, I want to export all of my resources here. Perhaps I'm pretty happy with what I've done this week, and it'd be a good time to take a backup, or perhaps I want to share this. So here's how we can take this. So we go to export, and I'm going to export it as a zip file. So choose archive file, select the project, we'll take the awesome 2A, decide what resources you want to export. So for example, I don't need to export the DS store. That's a Macintosh file that the Finder uses. And have a look at anything else. So for example, I might decide I don't want to export my internal publish or my media, but let's say I do want to have the media. That's just the pictures I took. And then we need to give it a name. So you can click the browse button, choose where you want to store it, and I'll call this say the ILLIAC 1, and I might have a version number as well, just an internal one. So but I'll ILLIAC 1. Okay, so finish. And now I've got on my desktop a zip file that I could now email to myself, for example, or email to another developer, or store somewhere as a backup. Okay, that's it. That's our first app finished. I now encourage you to play and create your own apps. And in the next part of the course, we'll be starting to talk about what programming we can do with Android and look through some of these tools in more detail. Right, have fun.